Ed has said, we've done a lot of looking at this plan over the last few days to try and find out what's actually going to happen and how people can feel. I just want to add a personal note, and that is my family has been in this town a very long time. The house that we now own was built 100 years ago, and I remember my grandmother sitting on the front porch. It's a very important place to me, as is the neighborhood. And what I want to encourage you to remember in making your decisions about what to do here is that what's special about Washington is its people, its beautiful environment, its friendliness, its openness. And if we let traffic control overrule what we're thinking about in terms of building our community and maintaining the neighborhoods that are there, maintaining the small businesses that are there, we may kill the heart and soul of this place. This very expensive way of solving a traffic problem is going to cause, I am sure, a lot of damage that we don't fully understand yet, and it may be very hard to undo. So I encourage you to slow it down and think and take into account what people who live in that area are saying about the collateral damage that could be caused.
Good, thank you, Mary Beth. Fred Howell? Fred Howell? Fred Bowen? 927-3133. Okay. Best one did. Okay, David Hodges, okay.
I'm David Hodges. I'm a commercial real estate broker and consultant. I'm right now here to speak on behalf of that Sloan. I understand that many of the people here have issues with the taking of their property, and Ms. Sloan does as well. She has a property in the northwest quadrant of North Pierce Street, 15th Street, where most of you would probably recognize the Speedway there now, Wilco Hess. The problem is every inch counts on this property. The taking of the property, the right of way is being taken, will make traffic around on the property, around the front of the property, near impossible. This aerial photograph, or actual map, shows cars that are parked now on the 15th Street side, and it shows that they're even cut off. That map clearly shows that the rear of those cars are cut off. They're cars that are parked there along that side. Those cars being cut off like that, property taken, there's no way the cars are going to be able to park there, travel around that property. Cars that will be coming out of those lanes that will be selling gasoline coming south out of the property. It's going to be quite a bit of trouble to circumvent around that building. I'd just like to say, in the strongest term, that Ms. Sloan would like that like to go away. But for the most part, it's impacting the value of her property. It is going to greatly decrease the value of her property simply because the rents would be lowered, the marketability of her property would be lessened, and we hope that this meeting would serve some use to get some reconsideration of this project as much as can, because Ms. Sloan is negatively impacted by this project on the value of the property.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Yazan Al-Zabani. I said it Y-A-Z-A-N-A-L-Z-O-V-A-N-I. Okay, Sarah Nana. Okay, Pat Griffin?
Mayor, council, thank you for the hearing. My say the things that you've heard me say before. Along with many others in the community, I strongly oppose construction of NC DOT TIP project, U 5860. I've talked a lot in the last week. I have spent most of the week going up and down talking with property owners, particularly business owners. Most are upset. In fact, everyone I talked to was upset. And they have grave concerns about the project. With the exceptions of the representatives of the DOT, I can't remember anyone that I've talked to that's in favor of meetings. The massive majority are strongly opposed to meetings. We've already talked about water. I won't talk about that again. We've already talked about the spotlights. I don't want to talk about those. I'm going to bring things here about this. One thing that I thought of tonight after I was on the way here is fire protection. Bennett Street, Jackson Street, and Paul Streets are dead-end streets. Median there was drastically restrict fire apparatus from getting into them. During construction, they will absolutely have no fire protection. I feel that the meetings are a bad idea. They will, everyone that all the businesses, and I do own some property there. My tenants are opposed to it. It took 10 years to get one tenant. I take the losing. And I appreciate it. It's like y'all serving. I don't know why in the world to do that.
Okay, thank you, Pat. Carl Simons?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Most of the concerns I would have been expressed. We live on the corner of 12th and Western Street, and I'd like to say the wife and I are opposed to this project as proposed. And I guess one of the reasons I'm opposed to it is because the improvements we have on quote 264 have probably exacerbated the problems we're having on 15th Street. So, I don't have much faith in this being an improvement when I look at 264. And for an expedite meeting, that's all I'm going to say.
Okay, thank you. Orlando Julio, ORBANDOJPIBO. Liz Bernhardt.
Good evening. I intended for these to be written comments, and so I have my signed copy to give it to you. Okay. And I only have a couple copies. I didn't think of that at the time.
Okay. We'll send one. Okay. Send that one back.
I just wanted to submit the following comments for your consideration at this evening's meeting and for the public record. I own and live in my own home in the 100 block of West 13th Street, southwest of the intersection of North Market and 15th Street. And I want to thank the DOT officials for being here and all the city council and the city staff too. I appreciate all of you all recognizing that there are issues and being willing to consider making improvements address the issues. I'm not automatically opposed to potentially dramatic changes to the existing configuration of 15th Street and its intersections. However, I do not support implementation of the DOT design presented at the public information meeting that was held on August 11th of this year. I ask that each of you consider the issues that I and other citizens present this evening and work with DOT to delay implementation of this project until such a time as acceptable modifications or alternatives can be decided upon. Four broad issues of concern to me, and this is just from my little area. I mean, people up and down the whole length of 15th Street have additional concerns. This is just my little perspective. One, the North Market 15th Street intersection is very dangerous, and I've highlighted a number of very specific things to save time. I won't say those here, but they're listed for you. I did mention some of these in written comments to DOT. Their response to me was that enforcement of existing traffic laws would be the responsibility of local law enforcement. Please bring it to their attention. The second issue I have is that vehicle traffic increases on West 15th Street, my street, when traffic is slow or stopped on 15th Street, and often that's because of a wreck that has occurred on 15th Street. And what this means in my residential neighborhood is more cars than normal, often at faster speeds than normal. The drivers who aren't as familiar with my little residential area, people that might be bagging out of driveways or pushing a stroller and walking down the street, all of those things. So I think it'll divert traffic for people trying to avoid the hassles of 15th Street and some of the side streets. Three, we already have recurring drainage problems during heavy rain events. The existing ditches overflow, water fills the streets, and you've already heard speakers tonight talk about yards and garages and underneath the houses getting flooded. We already know this, and we know that adding pavement and reducing the amount of permeable ground surface upstream is just going to increase the volume of water and the speed at which it rises in our streets. It may even lengthen the duration if it stays inundated. And I guess I wonder, how can we know all this and even considering adding to the problem by reducing the amount of permeable surface and adding to the impervious surface? Four, and while some of the receding floodwater filters into the earth, an awful lot of it ends up in our waterways, including the Pamlico River, and whether it gets there via a culvert or an open ditch or just over the surface, it carries pollutants including sediment, road residue, organic matter, and anything else that floats with it. All of these contribute to the pollution of the waterways that are such a nice feature of this city and the surrounding area. In closing, I think this is a bigger issue than simply changing the footprint of 15th Street. The project as proposed, while it does address a limited number of issues on 15th Street itself, leaves many issues still unaddressed and has the potential for actually harming entire neighborhoods. I think the effects of this project will ultimately affect the entire town. I would ask that each of you that each of the city staff, elected officials, and us residents take an increased role in collaborating with DOT to ensure that the real issues are identified and that proposed solutions actually address those issues, and that major changes to 15th Street or any street in the city be considered in relation to long-term plans for maintenance and improvement of all the other aspects of our city that we value. And that includes not only traffic flow, but pedestrian access, stormwater management, historic preservation, outdoor recreation, and environmental protection. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That was everybody signed up, and I know I got to see you early. Tom, you want to go, come on and state your name when you get up here so we can get them down for comment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm Tom Litchfield. I do have a property that is involved in this area, but I'm not here to talk about my property. One of the questions I want to ask, is this a done deal?
This is a DOT project. We're just holding a public hearing so they can get comments from the citizens. They can hear whatever you want to tell them.
Okay.
It's not our deal.
And the reason I'm asking that question, I went on the DOT website tonight, and the project says that planning and design underway of these projects, they are generally less than 10 years, and I'd like to emphasize the word less, years from right-of-way acquisitions or construction. Planning includes examination of multiple alternatives and analyzing environmental effects. Not every project will in development will receive funding for right-of-ways or construction. However, planning studies indicate DOT is strongly considering implementing the project. Now I'm looking at the Washington City Council agenda for your next meeting, which will be December the 12th. New business. Authorize/adopt manager to negotiate and execute the engineering utility preliminary engineering agreement on 415th Street water and sewer utility relocation NCDOT project U5860 and adopt, the word adopt, underline, the capital project ordinance and subsequent purchase order. In parentheses, page 196. When I read this, it does concern me that this might be on the fast track. I am a local real estate agent, agent of broker. I know the value of property as you do, Mr. Mayor. And when somebody has a property taken to expand a road, and when they step out the front door and go down the steps and almost in a highway or major thoroughfare, the value of their property goes down dramatically. Now, I'm asking every one of y'all, if y'all have your house and you've been living there and you've been taken care of and you love it, and then all of a sudden, government is coming in and forcing, take away, and you lose your value, how are you going to feel? I am talking about the people that this is going to affect, and the businesses it's going to affect. I understand we have a problem. Mr. Mercer, others can come up with possible solutions to the problem. But I want now to talk about the safety aspect. Pat indicated fire. I do not think that one of our large fire trucks can get to a fire in a timely manner if they've got to do a U-turn. Because that fire truck cannot initiate a U-turn in one street. Another thing, I'm sure all of us have been in a situation where we're driving and somebody beside us, and if we're in their blind spot and they come over, when that median there, that keeps us from going over if no other traffic is coming. Also, when you redirect traffic and you got more and more traffic, I think you're going to have more accidents. Any of us who have been on the south side of 15th Street want to turn left or head west, and there's not a stoplight, you've got to wait a long time. I think some additional stoplights would be an answer to this problem. But it does concern me about the safety aspects. And here again, here's another thing, is that our city police, sheriff, and highway patrol do a phenomenal job. But if there is an accident, and there is a median there, and an ambulance has to stop on the opposite side of the median, not only is the traffic stopped where the accident is, it is now blocking traffic on the other side. I have seen many times when it's been an accident, and a highway patrol or one of our local policemen will stop traffic and from coming one way to let the other ones get out and keep traffic going. This can be a tremendous problem. But what concerns me the most is for what leads me to believe this is on the fast track. And I hope it isn't. I'm not up here to ask you to slow this down. I'm asking you to stop it.
Okay, anybody else? Larry?
Larry London, First Bank, and I actually have a letter that was written that would like to put in for First Bank on minutes. And but our main point is we, as a business there in on 15th Street, we don't want to see the removal of the stoplight on Washington Street. We feel like that is a very wide road. It gives a lot of access for our police to travel that way. If that light were to be removed, and put it on Pier Street, which is a much narrower road, we felt like that wouldn't be as easily accessible. So that was the point we want to bring up tonight.
Okay. Lori?
Hello, my name is Lori Champion Melton. I'm a business manager and co-owner of Taylor's Hospital Pharmacy here in Washington, also the patient representative of the owners of the property there. I have one question I need to ask real quick. Sir, when you were going over this, you mentioned that it stopped at Brown Street. Is that something new?
That was where the project initially stopped.
But now it goes on further. To the lot, okay. We're having an issue of the meetings there. If somebody wants to turn into Taylor's Hospital Pharmacy, they're traveling westward Greenville, they're gonna have to do a U-turn and come back in. Then when they want to go back out, they're gonna have to take a right, do another U-turn and go back the other way. When we built that property, bought that property, we were given these entrances by the DOT. And we want to keep them. We can't move our building, we can't extend our parking lot. We have terrible flooding issues as it is. We had 2 cars in the ditch during one of the last storms in our property because they flooded, they were 6 feet deep. And it was just an issue where this business has been here in town since 1889. We have fought the big box chain stores, we fought insurance companies, we fought all of the things that come to get the little people. And we managed to stay here. And we want to stay here. And I would hate to think that my own city is the person or the people who caused me to fail. And that's all I need to say. Thank you.
My name is Mariah Wilson, and I'm one of the owners of Coldwell Banker Crystal Realty. I personally am not affected by this, nor is my business. We're located downtown. But I've listened to everyone. I did come here tonight from previously. I have no notes, but there are several points I'd kind of like to bring up. One is, I understand the expedience of the route. 15th Street is already there. If you're trying to move traffic, it would be easier to widen it than move it somewhere else. I can understand wanting to diminish car accidents and that kind of thing. It seems like those are 2 points that I've heard brought up about the reasoning for this. What I don't understand is this corridor is one of the most densely populated highest density of residential and commercial development in the whole city. In the town of Washington, this has some of the highest density development. Therefore, more citizens are going to be impacted by this, the businesses that comes, than if it were in a different location. I know a different location would be more expensive, but it seems like this is a short-term solution and not a long-term solution. Just north of this area, there is a lot of vacant land that it seems like it would impact a lot fewer people. I don't know if an impact study's been done on how this is going to affect businesses. and the loss of revenue for people and the loss of property values. We're just, the last 8 years have probably been the worst in 100 years, almost, in terms of property values for individuals with their homes and with their businesses. A lot of small businesses are already struggling to make ends meet. And if people have trouble accessing their property, you know, people can see a lot of people go out of business. As far as moving cars through as a thoroughfare, they have more limited access. We move more cars through because this street, 264, is now 2 lanes instead of 4 lanes. I understand that, but I don't think I would, I think it's going to make more accidents trying to move people through or trying to get through town, moving them through an area where people are turning off and on to go shopping, to go to restaurants. That area at lunchtime is very, very busy. You're going to have people who are going to fast food places, maybe picking up things on their lunch hour, that to get across the road or to go in another direction are going to be trying to cut across 2 lanes of traffic, then getting and then doing a U-turn. It seems to me like, if you think about it, it's going to cause more wrecks than it's going to prevent. And it's not going to move the volume of traffic through. I'm curious if any other routes have been studied or looked at. They might be more expensive on the short term, but long term, it seems like it would be a smarter use of DOT funds. And it seems like it would be less expensive in the long term for the city if the city is going to be responsible for handling the flooding issues and that kind of thing. We've already spent a lot of money on that. It seems like this is just going to exacerbate the problem. I just think there are a lot of questions, and I agree. If we can slow this process down and we look at the other issues this is going to cause, on face value, it looks like a very expedient plan. It would work in the short term, I assume. But you've got citizens here that could go out of business because of this. Their livelihood is going to go away. You've got people who their biggest investment is their home, and all of a sudden they're not going to be able to sell it. So what they've worked all their lives for is going to be worth nothing or almost nothing. So I think a lot, whether you decide to do this or not, I think a lot of thought has to be put in, a lot more thought has to be put into it. And maybe perhaps investigate if there are any other areas with lower density of development. I mean, this is already one of the busiest areas in town. So the only busier area is probably right downtown. Those are not going to sell.
Okay, anybody else?
I already spoke, just to be quick, I feel like something needs clarification. I heard you tell a previous speaker that this was not your deal, DOT's deal, and I think it very much is your deal. I think this is an opportunity for you to hear from all these citizens that have emphasized how much it is our deal as residents of the city and how much we expect our city council and our planning staff to work long-term for solutions that are going to benefit our city. I think it very much is all their deal. I also heard the first speaker mention that it is still possible to drop this project and if serious modifications or modifications that address all the issues can't be made, then that is possible. Thank you.
I have 1 more minute.
Okay.
2 things I didn't comment on. One is I just wanted to say, one of the individuals on North Market, who was very close to us, firefighter and emergency responder, his comment is, this is a nightmare. And I want to read you his comments. He asked that his name not be used, but he did sign a petition. He said, responders not only respond to incidents in the 15th Street corridor, but use use this to access other parts of the city when seconds matter. Proposed expansion with limited access, obstructed with a medium, is a recipe for disaster. As to obstruct and delay emergency responders, collecting data from all stakeholders should be included. Obstructing and limiting access will cause delays that are unwarranted and unnecessary. So that's from a local firefighter, an emergency responder. Second is, as Tom noted, we also noted that you have an agenda item on your Monday list about approving funds for utility movement. And we hope that you will not deal with that, because if you do, it would seem to me to be an incredibly simple thing to do, to have this meeting, ask for this input, then Monday vote to appropriate money or authority to appropriate money to an engineering portion. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Jane Woodlots.
Thank you.
Thank you, council members and Mayor Hodges, for providing this opportunity for public input. I grew up in a house that's over 100 years old on the corner of Market and 13th Streets. The neighborhoods that abut this 15th Street corridor will be affected if this DOT project continues, and it will be a negative effect. So my question tonight is, do the negative impacts that have been identified here tonight outweigh the proposed benefits of this proposed project for our community, the original Washington? You know, you have to weigh it out. If the negative impacts here outweigh the proposed benefits, then stop this project and provide an innovative and reasonable solution for this 15th Street corridor. By doing so, you will preserve the integrity of the historic aspects of property impacted by this plan. You will preserve the integrity of the business community that is established along this corridor. You will preserve the integrity of neighborhood safety in our community. Safety that focuses on traffic flow, flooding issues that you're well aware of, and pedestrian safety. So please consider stopping the plan as it's currently proposed and provide an innovative and reasonable solution for this 15th Street corridor that best serves the city of Washington. Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul Pepper, Middle Summit Avenue. I want to thank you for giving us this opportunity, as well as thank the state for being here. But I'm a little confused about what authority you have in this matter of the city council. Do you have the authority to stop it or stall it or amend it or what? What is your authority in relationship to this little project?
We're having this for the DOT officials to get input from the public.
You have the authority to stop it.
I don't know. We're not funding it. It's not, but
So this is merely just a hearing.
this is a hearing for the public to come up and,
The final decision will be made by the state.
I don't know, well, you asked me a question I don't have an answer for. But this is your time to say what you got to complain about with whatever. No, this is for you to talk
My
about.
question is just procedural. I just wanted to know what happens next.
Well, I can answer that question. What happens next is that we, as a community, have asked this public hearing outside of the normal requirement that CDOT to receive public input. questions that were voiced tonight, we're going to summarize that in a statement and present that to NCDOT, and they're going to come forward with a recognized rational approach towards the concerns that were voiced tonight. And then we can actually move along. The design component of the plan thus far is only about 25%, they're just collecting data, so they're not ready to implement. They've got to do some other background stuff, and they have modified on 2 different instances based on the original meeting. The first one was they took out the median that was in front of the Rich Company and then Richard Gerard at Pistol Ring. So both of those received comments. They addressed that and so they moved forward. And the only way they need to do it is receive the comments from us, so they'll have an opportunity to bring information back to us, and then we'll have another meeting and we'll present those findings.
Does the city have the authority to tell the state that they don't want to?
Well, it would be a funding issue for us. I mean, there is some cost, a matching pro rata share of it. If the city opts to do that, then the answer would be that the project would be null and void. But here again, we're just at the very beginning of the first step in the total process of the program.
Mr. Manager, am I correct in that if we summarize the comments that we've received tonight, that based on our opinion of what we have heard, we can make a recommendation as to whether to proceed or not proceed with the project?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
And at that time, there were a number of people that were speaking very favorably about the putting that project forward. I haven't heard anybody here tonight say anything positive about this change in 15th Street. So, I mean, are they coming to a different meeting?
No, I think probably what you do is the people that are going to be affected, and which is most of you. And I don't really think it's going to make any difference to you. You're far enough away. The problem you got is DOT really has about 4 or 5 times the number of accidents out there because people get rear-ended out there all the time and they're trying to figure out that's why it scores way high. But I guess all the people that are rear-ended are not here tonight. But it doesn't monetarily affect them now. What happened last year, last 6 months, so I didn't expect, the real problem is that. I mean, DOT is not here because they just love to throw away money. I mean, they really don't show up at Washington a whole lot to help, they got projects to do, and this is one that just, you got a high accident rate, and that's, you got a high accident rate, and you're gonna devalue some people's property, and you're gonna, cutting down 15th Street, some people gonna lose a parking place if they put it in, and, it's like hospital pharmacy. I don't see why they couldn't take it back to Brown Street and leave them out, because they already got a turn lane and shrink it down much as, but you do have a high occurrence of rear end wrecks where people, I guess, are texting or not paying attention, and people trying to turn across traffic, and that's, that's the gist of, that's just why they're looking at the road. It's not for the meanness of it. I mean, it's another side.
I haven't heard anybody say anything positive about it.
Well, I know, but I don't know why you would deny it, because it's really not going to affect their pocketbook now. Whatever happened before is not affecting their business. This is more like for business owners to say, I got a problem. Where else? I got a problem because I don't have a turning lane here. I can't get in my business. I got a problem here. It might be somewhere where you can get together and work and shorten up the thing and tidy it up and get a lot of people that are not happy. It's just a process. So we're just trying to get all the comments in. Is the gist of it. Yes, ma'am. not short. I didn't need to be.
Very short-sighted. Everybody in Washington.
Well, I don't mean to do that.
Everybody in Washington travels on 15th Street, goes to businesses there, spends money there, is affected by what happens there. And for you to say, if you live a distance away, this won't bother you at all, that's just not acceptable. I just want to add something. I understand that there is a procedure, a normal procedure around these DOT projects. But when you say that you don't have the authority, I totally must disagree with that. You, as the people who are in charge of watching over the health and safety of this town, have moral authority to respond to what your citizens are saying. And you have ways of doing that that I think will work.
Chairman and Councilman. As you all know, my name is Doris Moe, I'm on the planning board. Most of these people came before the planning board and have voiced the same opinions and comments at the planning board that they have tonight. And it was my recommendation as a member of the planning board that we ask you to hold a public hearing so that people could voice their opinions to you, realizing that it was a state project, but also realizing that if there was any clout to be had to get the state to make a change, it would have to come from the city council. So, as a member of the community, a property owner within spitting distance of 15th Street, I would like to ask the council to review all the comments that were made tonight. And once you accumulate those, you will realize that there's not a soul in here that is in favor of this project, the way it is now being promoted. And I understand that if the council makes recommendations to the state and says, basically, we don't want that project, your chances of not getting that project are very good. So I suggest that you recommend to the state that this project be denied and go along with the citizens of this community. I realize that we have a problem in Washington, especially 15th Street, with a lot of different matters. The biggest one being the flooding that happens here quite often, not just with the hurricane, it just happens. And we need, as a council and as a city, to do something about our portion of that. But in the meantime, just ask the state to stop the project. Thank you.
My name is Candace DeCepolo. My parents, Alfred and Jenny DeCepolo, and I jointly own a house right across from Edward Jones on 15th Street. We just bought it. It's actually kind of my house, and I'm really excited for it. It's my first ever house where I don't have a landlord. So as we understood the project when we first heard about it, there was going to be 4 feet of the property taken from the front line lot. And then I found out from the man that was surveying that the easement was going to go all the way to my front porch, which is great, basically my front door. And I just thought it was interesting because you mentioned that the reason for the project is that there's so many accidents on 15th Street. And as someone who leaves my house every day to commute all the way to ECU in Greenville, I can tell you that those accidents are because the speed limit is not enforced on that road. It's supposed to be 35 miles an hour. And people are regularly, I'd say going at least 50, past my house, especially in the morning. And I'd say between 7 and 8, and then again between probably 4 and 6. You got people going at least 50 miles an hour. And I don't know, but I would think that that would fall under the purview of something that the city council can do something about.
we have actually complained to the police, and we've seen a couple people getting pulled over, but I can tell you, it's not getting better. So, thanks so much, and please don't take my yard, because I wouldn't like it.
Okay, anybody else?
My name is Mary Tyler, and I reside on East 15th Street. And my concern is mainly with the median strip that you're planning to put in, not only will put in that median strip to value Mountain, it will devalue every single property on 15th Street because it's going to deny access to your driveway. Everybody on 15th Street has a driveway. Nobody parks along the road. Therefore, if I'm coming down from what was the mall and trying to turn left, I cannot turn left into my own driveway because there's a convenience strip in there. That's devaluing not only my property, but everybody on 15th Street, businesses as well. So I'm totally against it. Totally against it. There's got to be other ways to get around the traffic problems without putting up a median strip.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other comment? If not, I'll move out of public hearing. Okay, any first from Mercer, you got a comment, William?
No comment exactly, but one thing I'd like to share with the audience and the group as well. The North Carolina League of Municipalities has done its advocacy goals for the 2016-2017 biennium. One of the goals is to have more local authority with regards to transportation projects. It is the League's goal that we will seek more local input, especially from this council, to go back to DOT to work out an agreement for the betterment of everybody. Because after all, at the end of the day, not only do we serve the city of Washington, we serve the citizens of Beaufort County. So let me say that the League of Municipalities, which represents 543 cities across the state of North Carolina, is aware of the projects that DOT is doing, and they're aware of placing more public input into these projects. So thank you for coming. This is a positive sign that the citizens of Washington, unlike what some people say, don't care, you do care. And it is our goal to make you happy citizens, or at least complacent, so you understand why something is done, not just because we do it, but we want to know why something is done. So thank you for coming. Thank you for spending your evening with us. We will take this under advisement as a council. We will do that which we believe which is right for the citizens of the city of Washington.
Got any comment?
Mr. Mayor, that medium for me is not necessary for many reasons. Some of the reasons they spoke about tonight. I was thinking about maybe putting some stoplights in different places. When a person's built in a certain place and he's been uprooted because of something that's not his or her doing, that those are hardship. And I appreciate the men and women that come down here tonight to ask your city council to do what is best for you. And that is our job. We ask to represent you, and we should at all times represent you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rick. You have a motion to adjourn. I do want to thank all of you for coming. You know, usually we have a meeting and we just have a few people here, and then I would like to invite you to come back more often. I mean, it's kind of exciting to have somebody, you know, to have a enthralled, exciting audience with us. But anyway.
Hearing nothing further, motion to adjourn until 5:30 December 12th in Municipal Chambers of the Washington City Council.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.